Good day, folks. Welcome to the MB Wildman channel. On today's video, Elliot and I are right here, obviously, in front of this huge big patch of corn. And we're going to talk about fall bear hunting over corn. So it's real quick, real easy. And I just want to share this with you. It might be basic, might be beginner for some of you, but just thought we could help out some of those new hunters that don't have time to bait in the fall. But they've got some local farmers in the area that plant corn. And this is a great way to take some fall bear. Listen, if you haven't yet subscribed to the MB Wildman channel, we sure would appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. Just hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content, you want to be notified when we upload some new stuff, go ahead and hit that bell. And you'll get a message every time we upload new videos to YouTube, and you can not miss anything that way. So, all right, Elliot and I have decided, after taking our spring bear, that we're going to take a fall bear as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably end up hunting large patches of corn. A couple different reasons that we do this. First of all, help out local farmers. Where we live here in Carleton County, there are a dozen big farms, you know, within a rifle shot, and a lot of them plant feed corn for cattle, or they plant corn to, you know, to make like for the grain mills, right, to mix and make different feed and all of that. And bears in New Brunswick destroy huge amounts of corn. I'm talking acres and acres of corn can be destroyed in one particular patch by black bears. So if we can help out the local farmers, then that's a win-win situation for everybody. You end up with permission to hunt, you end up with permission to trap their land, you know, you end up with, you know, good neighbors, right? And also we're having a chance to hunt on their ground and take a real nice fall bear. So,
and they don't lose corn.
And they don't lose corn, right? So that's good for everybody all the way around. The second reason that we like to hunt corn like this in the fall is because it's a huge amount of natural bear bait that someone else put here, that we don't have to tend, we don't have to bait the barrel, we don't have to continually, you know, check it back and forth and all of those things. This is here. It's here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right up until they cut it, of course, and then it becomes a little different. But last week I posted a video on the 3 levels of bear baiting in the fall, but that was specifically talking about a bait and barrel and all of those things. This involves no scent, no lure, anything like that. This is simply set your tree stand in the right spot and hunt the right area of a big patch of corn, and you'll be successful 9 times out of 10, right? Yeah. So stick with me here. Elliot and I are going to show you how we would set up this particular area of corn if we wanted to take, or when we're going to take, a fall bear from this spot.
Yeah. So first you're going to look for a wide spot in between the woods and the corn, so you can get a shot that at a bear that comes through the woods.
Okay, so after you find your wide spot, like Elliot just said, the spot just has to be wide enough so that you can get a shot at a bear, right? You can't just have a little narrow lane, otherwise the bear is going to flash through it and you won't see it, because the bear is going to be coming from the woods into the corn most times. So like Elliot said, we got to have a spot that's wide enough to give us a shot. The other thing we have to do, or you have to do when you set this up, is you have to make sure that you play the wind the right direction. As I said in last week's video, bears are super good smellers. And if they wind you, they're not coming into this corn until you're long gone, right? So you want to set up so that the dominant wind in your area is blowing away from the corn or back up the trail. To do this, what we typically do is we look in the corners of the cornfields. So here in New Brunswick, I don't know how it is where you are, but in New Brunswick, typically you've got wood edge or little edges of woods that separate the fields, right? So we look in the corners of those, and we look in the ones where the wind is dominant, pushing back against us or in our face or back the way we came, right? So you want to play, in New Brunswick, we play a west wind most of the time in the fall. North wind, northwest wind, those are kind of what we get for the fall. So you want to look for a corner of the field that allows you to see one direction with a pretty wide spot. You can also look back the other direction if you're right in the corner, depending on where you want your stand to be. But you just want to make sure that you set up, and where you're looking, the wind is either in your face or on your left or on your right, and not blowing in toward the corn. That's important. So for us, this is perfect right here. We've got a tree right back in there that we can use. And if you look at what I'm looking at from that tree, if I spin this around, I've got this wide area here, right up the cornfield.
So next, what we're looking for is a well beat down trail. So, and if they're muddy, you know they're like used often and very well. So we have one right here, like well beat down right here. that you use. And then up here, we have another one. It's deep down. Like already you can see there is bears here. So up here, right up here, trail right there, and this. See?
Definitely bear sign here for sure.
Yeah, and then this is a trail. Look at this. And then if you just turn the slightest, you just turn around, and this is what you see.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of corn. Gone. Because of bears. You look in, there's like...
Okay, so Elliot just told you that you're also looking for well-used trails coming out of the woods into the corn and out of the corn into the woods. These are travel routes for bears back and forth. Typically what bears will do is they'll come out, they'll grab some corn, they may drag it back into the woods to eat it, or they may sit right in the corn patch and eat it. It's hard to say, it doesn't matter. You need to specify the trails that you use though. So there were two trails that Elliot showed you. The first one was right on the corner, right by where we first filmed. But there was no corn stalks broken off, no corn was down on the corner of the field. And then halfway here, I showed you another little trail that went in the woods. Again, only a couple of corn stalks were broken off. Then we get up to the third trail that's right here that Elliot showed you last, that gray trail. And then look at this. Look at all of this corn that's down. This is all destroyed. The harvester can't get to this, right? So, because it's already matted down. This is all waste, and this is all pretty new. This corn's been hit within the last 2 or 3 days. So these solid trails that have been made, these are brand new trails. Bears are hitting this nightly, I would say. And we've seen some pretty big, Elliot and I just walked that trail a little bit down into the woods, and there was some pretty good sized bear tracks in there. I'd say, you know, there's a couple 300-pounders or more frequenting this corn pretty often, okay? So let's take a little look. Let's take a little walk through here. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're hunting the trail that leads to the area that the corn is matted down. It's one thing to hunt the trail, it's another thing to hunt the one that's the most active. And we can see right here, all of this stuff right here, all this corn matted down, tells you that this is the active spot that the bears are hitting each night. Let's go see if we can see some sign in here. Okay, so I mean, this is all just piled down. I mean,
good. Like it goes on like further too. You can look through the corn.
Yeah, there's some pretty good track right there. You can see how bears walk up and down. If you look around in these areas, you'll probably see places where bears actually lie down. Like, look at this, just wasted corn, right? Well, like, this is just all trampled and wasted.
There's the harvester can't get to it, like you said. It's just...
And that's a pretty good... Look at this bear track right here.
Oh, my word.
Look at the size of that bear track right there.
That's a big track and a half.
Yeah, like, that's a good one.
That's bigger than my hand.
Yep, much bigger than your hand. Look, clear right there. Right, so there's some big boys in here. But anyway, so the important thing is that you're hunting an active spot, and you know the active spot by this right here. All this mangled corn tells you where the active bear trails are. All right, guys, well, and girls, I guess, folks, that's pretty much what you're looking for. So real basic, again, like I said, but if you want to hunt corn, make sure you get the farmer's permission. That's important. You always want the landowner's permission before you go ahead and hunt. I have never yet been turned down by a farmer when I said I'd like to hunt bear off your corn. They almost give you a hug, so be ready for that. That might be a little awkward in wherever you're at. But get the permission, and then you want to make sure, like Elliot said, what's the first thing, bud, we're looking for?
A wide space that you can get a shot at a bear that's coming out of the woods.
Okay, so a wide enough space that you got a shot at a bear coming or going. They usually don't bolt through the spaces. That's, I guess we forgot to mention that when we did that before. So when you get that wider area between the corn and the woods, typically bears are cautious coming out to feed. So you'll see basically what you'll be able to see from your tree stand is that you'll see just that the bear start to inch out, and he'll kind of look both ways like he's going to cross the street, and then he kind of take a couple steps out and a couple steps out. Still nothing, you know, wrong, then he'll just saunter over into the feed. He may stay in, if you miss him, miss not shooting at him, but if you miss him crossing, I've been sitting in the stand, never seen a bear go into the corn, and then all of a sudden a bear comes out of the corn going into the woods. So he obviously got into the corn from a different direction, or he was already in the corn, or whatever it was. But so you want that wide spot. You also want to be able to set up with the wind in the right direction. That goes without saying, right?
That's
For all
important.
all you hunters out there, wind should be your first priority when you're looking to set up a spot. You're looking for active trails in and out of the woods, right? If they're muddy, it means they're fresh used. And you want to make sure that you're hunting the trail that's the most active, and you know that by figuring out which areas of corn are mauled down and packed down the most, right? So those are pretty much the key things when you're going to hunt bear over a patch of corn.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a great idea. It's done for you, no baiting, no barrels, no anything. It's all natural. Just set up your stand and wait, right? Typically evening, by the way. Some bear in the morning feed in the corn, but typically this is like a, 3 o'clock on to dark type thing. So anyway, listen, I hope this is something to help you out. Like I said, probably real basic for some of you, but hope it helps somebody out there to get their fall bear. So until next time, happy hunting from the MB Wildman channel.